Okay, in the last video we looked at how to import the jQuery library. So line 4 is importing the jQuery library from the Google hosted libraries. So now I want to look at what is jQuery, how does it help us speed up development. So let's look at an example of where I have, let's say I have an ID here. So this is my first question. So I'll do ID equals, say, Q1. Oops. And then let's do the same thing here, ID equals, and this is answer 1. And let's say I wanted to select, let's do the answer, so we can initially hide the answer. So if I wanted to do that using the old methods through JavaScript, I'm doing this through JavaScript, not through CSS, we could obviously do it there. But if I wanted to do this through JavaScript, we had to do the old document dot get element by ID, and the ID is A1. And then if I wanted to hide it, then I needed to go to .style.display and set that equal to none. And if I view my page now, okay, there we go. That first one, the answer is missing. So I have successfully hidden that one. To do the same thing with jQuery, I'm going to go ahead and just comment this out so that we can see a comparison of the two lines. This is the beauty of libraries like jQuery. And jQuery, once again, is not the only library out there. There are many JavaScript libraries that will do similar things. But if I wanted to hide this, I would select the item like this. I start off with a $sign, and this is how you select anything with jQuery, is that $sign. Then I do the parentheses because the $sign is a function. So I have the parentheses, and then I tell it what I want to select. So if it is an ID, like this one was, then I do the ID and then the name of it. So I need to make sure I include the $sign to indicate that it's an ID. And if I want to hide it, all I have to do instead of doing the dot, and I could from this point, it's already selected the item, so I could do .style, .display, and all that. However, jQuery has a built-in function called hide. So if I just do $sign function, and then in the parentheses, the $sign A1 .hide, this will do the exact same thing. So if I refresh, go back and look at my page, and we can see that it's still hidden. I can verify this by changing this to Q1, refresh, go back and look at it. Now we can see the question's missing. So you can see how much shorter this line is compared to the regular JavaScript way of doing it. And this is the whole reason why we have a number of different JavaScript libraries out there. It is to help us speed up the coding, speed up the development of our apps. So what if I wanted to, let's say, hide all of the answers, not just this first one? Well, what I can do there is, since all of them, and this is why I did them as separate H2s and paragraphs, all the answers are paragraphs. So I can select all paragraphs and hide them. Notice I don't have a period or a $sign in front of that because it's not a class or a ID. It's just a paragraph element. So I'm going to select all paragraph elements and hide them. Refresh. There you go. All I have are just the questions. So this is how we use jQuery. This is how we select elements. If I had classes, I would put a period in front of it, but I don't have any actual classes, so that wouldn't make sense in this context. But IDs, make sure you put the hashtag in front of it. Classes, make sure you do the period. And for just actual elements, you would just do the piece. So if I were to do this, let's copy that line, change this to H2. What's this going to do when I run it? Well, if you guessed that it will make everything disappear, you are correct, because everything on the page is H2s and paragraphs, and now I'm hiding all paragraphs and all H2s, and now my entire page is blank. Okay, so in the next video, we will look at how we can make things change when we click on the page or move our mouse over elements.